I want to read for you a graphic that I have read probably more than any other single graphic through the course of this pandemic. And this is going way back to the very early days of the pandemic, when we found out from the Washington Post about a conversation that Donald Trump had behind closed doors with Dr. Fauci. And it was when Trump asked a question, an amazing question that not nearly enough people spent nearly enough time thinking about or talking about. But he said, why don't we let this wash over the country? And he means, why don't we let everyone just get COVID? Multiple people confirmed that he asked this question. He apparently asked it repeatedly in the Oval Office. And Dr. Fauci was apparently confused by the term wash over because it's nonsensical and you just got to be constantly confused talking to Donald Trump. But once it was made clear what Trump meant, that just let everyone get the thing that we're all trying to stop people from getting, he said, Mr. President, many people would die. And we've known from very early on in this thing that just allowing everyone to get it would kill at least a couple of million people, which I consider to be an unacceptable loss, but I'm not in government. What do I know? And so ever since then, ever since the first time we talked about that Washington Post story, we have been charting the progress of the herd immunity strategy. The strategy being just let everyone get COVID, which isn't really a strategy, but that's what they call it. And it's become increasingly clear as they brought in people like Scott Atlas and Donald Trump started talking about herd mentality in speeches, that this was a thing that they gradually came to accept as the strategy they should pursue. But it turns out, behind closed doors, they had actually been pursuing it much earlier. And we're finding this out thanks in part to some memos that have now been revealed from as early as July 4th. We have the then science advisor, Paul Alexander, wrote to his boss, Health and Human Services Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs, Michael Caputo, saying there is no other way. We need to establish herd, and it only comes about allowing the non-high risk groups expose themselves to the virus, period. They go on to say infants, kids, teens, young adults, young people, middle-aged with no conditions have zero to little risk, which we know is not true. So we use them to develop herd. We want them infected. And it gets even worse. On July 24th, said it may be that it will be best if we open up and flood the zone and let the kids and young folk get infected in order to get natural immunity, natural exposure. So we have more, and I certainly have more that I want to say. But Viviana, seems like it should be big news that these people behind the scenes were working to get as many people infected as possible.
Yeah, how sad is it that we're not surprised? That's the real tragedy here. There's no other way. There's no other way. Do these people have families? Do children live in bubbles by themselves and float around and take themselves to schools? I mean, do they not recognize that families live in pods with grandparents and great grandparents and aunts and uncles and people with diabetes? Do they not see this? I have to actually think, and this is not in what Paul Alexander said, but I have to think that there were discussions about the number of elderly people that would pass and how the GOP shrugged their shoulders and thought, that's less Social Security, that's less Medicare. I have to think that these conversations happen because all these people care about is money. And to think that there are, and I do believe that we're gonna have at least 500,000 people die in this country in the next few months. And that is very, very sad. I think the proportions in the Spanish flu were somewhere over 650,000 that we lost in this country. And that was 100 years ago. We can't there's no other way. There's no other way. You're a scientist? I mean, I just took biology in high school and I can figure out more than this, Mr. Alexander.
Yeah, what if, hypothetically, what if America wasn't the only country in the world? I know that it is, but bear with me. What if there were other countries that had pursued other strategies other than just letting everyone get it? What if we'd done that? And I can actually, in this hypothetical world that doesn't exist, I can imagine countries in Asia and even in Europe and stuff like that that didn't let everyone get it and didn't lose hundreds of thousands of people. But the thing about it is, again, I want to remind you, it is being presented as a strategy. It is not a strategy. It is a fail case. It is just, what if we didn't do anything and what if everyone got it? And you might think, well, why would you want to do that? Well, you'd want to do that if you really didn't want to do the stuff that stops people from getting it. If you really didn't want to try to prop up the economy while an extended lockdown was going on by providing aid to people so that everyone doesn't lose their jobs and a million businesses don't go under. You'd have to pay money. And the thing is, we have a lot of people in positions of power that care a hell of a lot more about that money than they do about people's lives. So if you believe those things about the world, then sure, saying just give it to the kids and teens and the young adults and we'll lie about the fact that they have zero to little risk when they do and many will die. And like Viviana said, along the way, like there's even behind the scenes, they're pretending that they're targeting it. That this is just, let's let all the people that we think, even though we're wrong, we think won't die from it. But where's the targeting? You just tell everyone in every way you possibly can, both in the government and in right-wing media, that this is a hoax that they don't have to care about. And that everyone should just mix and you can have these big gatherings and all of that. And everyone will just get it. There's no protection. Like every single person who watches Fox News is at minimum 76 years old. And they're being told every day that they don't have to worry about this thing. There was no targeting. This was just let everyone get it and let the chips fall where they may. If we lose 500,000, fine. If we lose 1 million, if we lose 2 million, whatever. Eventually we'll get past it and the stock market will have lived during that time.
I mean, do we expect more from a country that lets thousands die from cancer because they can't pay their bills or get the care that they need? Can we expect more from a country that lets kids not have insurance and get the care that they need? We do not pay for our sick here. We do not care about the health of the people in this country. The other countries that have put measures in place to prevent these massive deaths, they actually have socialized medicine. They actually recognize, whoa, this is gonna cost us a lot if we don't intervene. We don't care because we don't pay for it. We don't have a system that's in place that actually takes care of people. We have a system that exploits people and their illnesses. And in fact, goes further to make them ill with our food products and our pills and all these things that we're shoving down people's mouths. I'm sad to say I'm not surprised. And it is really, really horrible, the amount of people that have died, the amount of families who have been just devastated. Even if you're just ill and the breadwinner in the family can't work anymore. What about these kids? Who's gonna teach them? They're all learning from home. And who's gonna take care of these kids? They're not gonna die, maybe. We don't even know. We've had babies die, we've had young people die. So you're just gonna roll the dice because you can get flown to Walter Reed and you can get stem cells and et cetera, and enemas. I don't know what he got, but you can afford that. The rest of us can't.
Yeah, and they have access to it in the first place.
Where do they get these scientists?
To things that we don't have. Yeah, and like if you're a Trump fan and you're watching this, like I get that you're immune to caring that they've lied to you, but like they told you for months, Trump, Pence, all of them, and the media and Fox News, they told you we can open up the schools, we can open up the economy, and it's okay, people won't get it. They did not say open up the schools because we want the kids to get sick so that we can develop herd immunity. They said the kids won't get it, but behind closed doors, like 6 months ago, they were saying open up the schools so that the kids will get it. When we don't know the long-term health impacts of having COVID, even on kids. We don't know that 10% of these kids aren't gonna have neurological problems later on, or they aren't gonna develop some sort of heart problems later on. They wanted your kids to get sick and they lied to you about it. How does that not bother you? Like there's supposed to be some sort of primal human thing where at all costs, protect your kids from harm. But they're lying to you. They lied to you month after month about the risk to your children, your future. And how many right-wingers today are pissed off about this? How many are even hearing about it? Fox News ain't gonna talk about it.
They sure aren't. And it's really, it's a sad state of affairs that you believe the conspiracy theories and you believe the lies that this president, self-serving president, has peddled to the American people. But there is a thing called herd immunity. But it isn't just let the virus run rampant. Herd immunity takes place once you start vaccinating people and you can reduce the severity of the illness. And then that person can have it but not die from it. And then everybody can start to be exposed to a minimal level through vaccination. And then therefore, herd immunity through the country. It's very weird for a scientist to come through and pervert, is that the right word? Subvert what herd immunity means. And you see Dr. Fauci's head spinning during this whole thing. Where's Dr. Burks? Her face when she doesn't like what she hears. Poor thing.
Exactly. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.